Jim Carrey, whom we see on screen as a man of roaring laughter, bizarre facial expressions and limitless comedy, his real life, however, was never a laughing matter. Jim Carrey's childhood was spent in fear, uncertainty, and the darkness of poverty. At just 12 years old, his family fell into extreme financial crisis. His father lost his job and the family could no longer afford to pay rent. Eventually, they became completely homeless. Imagine this, a child only 12 years old, sleeping at night inside a Volkswagen van. Sometimes in parking lots, sometimes in empty open spaces. The safety of four walls, a bed of his own, everything had become a luxury. But the pain did not end there. To help his family survive, alongside his school studies, Jim Carrey had to work at a tire factory. Every day for 8 hours, deep into the night, he worked as a janitor, cleaning filth, surrounded by heavy odors, his body exhausted. In the morning, he would try to go to school again, but the fatigue and mental pressure were slowly breaking him apart. At one point, the situation became so severe that Jim was forced to drop out of school. At an age when other children were dreaming, Jim was fighting simply to survive. It was during this unbearable time that Jim Carrey clung to one thing: laughter. To hide his pain, fear, and poverty, he made people laugh. He went on stage, made strange faces, and turned his suffering into humor. No one knew how broken the man making everyone laugh truly was inside. This difficult childhood left a deep mark on Jim Carrey's life. Behind his laughter was born a kind of sadness, a kind of emptiness, one that later became the root of his mental struggles. After passing through years of poverty, humiliation, and neglect, light finally entered Jim Carrey's life. In the early 1990s, his appearance on the television show In Living Color became the turning point. On that show, Jim Carrey didn't just perform. He redefined comedy using his body, facial expressions, and explosive energy. In every skit, he was like fire, the audience laughed, and producers stared in disbelief. For the first time, Hollywood began to realize this man was different. But the real explosion came in 1994. That same year saw the release of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, followed by The Mask, and then Dumb and Dumber. Within just a few months, a struggling comedian transformed into Hollywood's most talked-about superstar. The wild energy of Ace Ventura, the cartoon-like physical performance in The Mask, and the pure comedy of Dumb and Dumber. These three films proved one thing: Jim Carrey was not just an actor, he was a genre of his own. Theaters filled with laughter. Box office records were shattered. Media headlines carried one name: Jim Carrey. The wave of success was so powerful that a new chapter was written in Hollywood history. Jim Carrey became the first actor to receive $20 million for a single film. On screen, Jim Carrey meant loud laughter, crazy dances, and boundless energy. But off-screen, this man was imprisoned in deep loneliness. Jim Carrey once said himself, he spent his entire life making people laugh in order to hide his own pain. Laughter was his shield. Comedy was his self-defense. When the entire world laughed at his jokes, no one noticed. Behind that laughter lived childhood poverty, memories of homelessness, the wounds of neglect, and a deep emotional emptiness. Even after reaching the peak of Hollywood, Jim Carrey realized a terrifying truth. He had immense wealth, luxury cars, huge mansions, and millions of fans. But when night fell, when the spotlight turned off, he was alone. The loneliness became so intense that Jim Carrey battled depression for a long time. At times he became dependent on medication, and at other times he wanted to abandon everything and disappear into silence. From these experiences, Jim Carrey repeatedly warned people. He said that if a person could achieve the greatest success, they would realize this is not life's ultimate goal, because true happiness comes from within, from understanding oneself, from having the courage to face one's own emptiness. The most devastating blow in Jim Carrey's life came in 2015. His former girlfriend, Cathriona White, suddenly passed away. The news shattered Jim Carrey from the inside. Cathriona was not just a lover. She was someone with whom Jim shared his most vulnerable sides. After her sudden death, amid deep grief, Jim Carrey was pulled into a long and exhausting legal battle. A media trial began. His name became headlines. Social media passed judgment. Without evidence, without compassion, the man who had spent his entire life making others laugh found himself, for the first time, standing alone in the face of cruel public scrutiny. Legally, Jim Carrey was ultimately proven completely innocent, but the court's verdict could not heal the wounds in his heart, because some losses cannot be measured in legal terms. This incident left behind in Jim Carrey's life a deep silence, a numb emptiness, and an invisible sorrow, one that never fully appears on camera. After this tragedy, Jim Carrey withdrew even more into himself. He stepped away from fame. Slowly, he began to distance himself from the world of laughter as well. Over time, Jim Carrey came to understand, not every battle can be won through acting. Not every pain can be hidden behind a smile. Today, at the age of 63, he has gradually stepped away from the chaos of Hollywood, the camera flashes, the red carpet, the box office race. Moving away from all of it, Jim Carrey discovered a different path. He now spends his time with painting. Through colors on canvas, he expresses emotions that words cannot explain. And through this art, he reaches spirituality, a place with no characters, no masks, and no audience expectations. Jim Carrey believes that depression is not weakness. In his words, depression is your body saying it no longer wants to play a character. It needs deep rest. This realization changed his philosophy of life. He says that people spend their entire lives trying to please others and end up losing themselves. True peace only arrives when a person learns to accept their true self. Today, Jim Carrey no longer wants to prove how big of a star he is. Instead, he wants to know who he is beyond the acting. Perhaps this is the greatest success of his life. We are all playing some kind of character. Some play the happy one, some the strong one, some the successful one. But if one day, your body and mind say, stop, will you listen to yourself? Jim Carrey's story teaches us, even behind the brightest smile, there can exist a deep silence. If this story has touched something inside your heart, if even for a moment, it made you think about yourself, then subscribe to the channel.